She ended up begging me to stop hacking her website, by user Claude Platypus. This is my freelance revenge story that happened about 8 years ago, and it was one of the first times I was ghosted without pay. I created a landing page for her elven symbol jewelry store, a bunch of esoteric BS, but I was young and trying to break into copywriting, so I took any deal I could. We agreed on a pure performance deal, so I got nothing up front, but we settled on a 5% performance fee. Her WordPress store was really small, and I was aiming to get $300 to $800 out of it, but honestly at some level I would have been happy to just do it for practice and my portfolio. Long story short, I wrote the landing page and built it inside her WordPress site. She started running some Facebook ads to it, and I was shocked to see that it was actually converting. $120 on day 1, $200 on day 2, $150 on day 3, $360 on day 4, etc. By the end of the month that landing page brought in $6,000 in revenue. I honestly thought I struck gold. $300 in royalties in the first month? I was going to make bank from 2 days of work. Well, predictably, she disappeared the moment I mentioned first invoice. 3 months go by. Nothing. No replies to emails, calls go unanswered. She's still running ads, I can see all the sales coming in, because I still have access to her website. Then out of nowhere I get a panicked message. My site is down. Are you doing this? Please stop. Now, I had nothing to do with her store going down. Probably just her cheap hosting. But after being ghosted for months while she made thousands off my work, I knew this could be my one and only shot at getting paid. So I decided to play along. But I had to be careful. I couldn't just admit in writing that I'm the hacker and threaten her to pay up. What if she went to the police and showed them the messages? No, I knew I had to make her think I was, but not admit to anything at the same time. So I replied. Sorry, but I'm not going to talk to you until you pay me what you owe me. This turned out to be the perfect level of vague. I never said I hacked her site. I never threatened to keep it down. I just looked suspicious AF. She immediately called me and asked me what I want. I told her I still have access to her website and Google Analytics, I can see what she made off of the landing page, and that I want what we agreed on, 5% of sales from that landing page. It ended up being just shy of $1,500. She said she'll take care of it. We got off the call, I sent her the final invoice, and she wired the money immediately. She then messaged me with a payment confirmation from her bank and asked me to enable her website. It worked. I was shaking when I typed back this reply. I had nothing to do with your website crashing, you should talk to your hosting provider. I never heard from her again. She woke me up for no reason. So I gave her a reason to stay awake, by user somewhere. Betty struck again. At 4:47 a.m. Not hungry. Not in danger. Just bored and ready for violence. She knocked over a water glass, launched a sock off the radiator, then sprinted across my chest like she was late for a job she doesn't have. I got up thinking something serious was going on. Nothing. She just stared at me like, why are you up? So I made my coffee. Sat there in silence. And planned. Later that afternoon, she was deep in her dramatic nap pose, belly up, one paw in the air like she's floating on a Victorian chaise lounge. Prime snoring. Zero awareness. I walked in with a single sheet of tin foil. Unfolded it. One slow crinkle. She levitated. Did a 360. Landed like she was confused what planet she was on. Then stormed out the room like I had wronged her. I said nothing. She's been side-eyeing the foil ever since. Got humiliated in front of the class. Waited weeks to return the favor, by user somewhere. We were never friends. Just the kind of classmates who sat near each other, swapped jokes when it suited her, and ignored each other the rest of the time. One day in class, I said something dumb, not even trying to be funny, just honest, and she saw an opening. Loud voice, smug grin, whole class watching. Oh my god, are you actually that stupid? Laughter. Attention. Teacher didn't even check it. I just laughed it off. But inside? That stung. You know when you replay something later and think, I should have said something back? I didn't. Instead, I waited. Couple weeks later, we had a group project. She ended up in mine, not her first choice. She didn't do much, but she thought she could still coast off the work. So when it came time to present, I gave the teacher the version I finished without her part in it. Told him she didn't contribute. Gave proof. She looked confused when she didn't get called up. More confused when she got marked separately. And probably the most confused when she asked if I said anything and I just said. Didn't think you wanted my input. You said I was stupid, remember? I didn't make a scene. Didn't raise my voice. But I still heard someone go damn from the back of the room. She never spoke to me again. Wake me up to say I'm off to work, by user Ambassador Nero 671. When my ex and I were first married, he worked a 12-hour day, 4 on 3 off job where he had to leave at like 3:30 am. I worked a normal office job and had regular people hours. On his work days, he'd wake me up before he left to say he was going to work and the obligatory I love you. I asked him several times to not do that as I would have trouble going back to sleep. He just wouldn't stop. So I started waking him up on his days off. Bye honey, off to work. Doesn't my hair look great today? That stopped him. Edit, removed extra comment. Steal my seat, how about a crop dusting, by user LittleAirdBird 1991. 33F, just got off a 7-hour cross-country flight and I wanted to share this story before I go pass out. I was flying Southwest so there are no assigned seats and I was in B boarding group. I went towards the back of the plane so I could get an aisle seat since I'm fairly tall. It was a completely full flight so I knew there would be someone sitting next to B. Enter entitled Karen, EK. She had waited to check in so she was at the back of the C boarding group. She was pissy because at first she couldn't find anywhere to put her massive roller bag and the flight attendants were trying to get her to gate check it. Then she came up to my row and I thought great, she's gonna take the middle seat. The following dialogue, to the best of my sleepy recollection, occurred. EK, move. OP, what? EK, I paid for an aisle seat and you are sitting in my seat. OP, more confused, what? EK, practically screaming, I said I paid for an aisle seat and you are sitting in my seat. OP, this is Southwest, there are no assigned seats. EK, are you stupid? I said I need the aisle seat. OP, I can get up to give you the middle seat if you want. I stupidly thought that was the end of it when a flight attendant came over and asked her to take a seat. I got up to let her into the row and she immediately sat down in the aisle seat. I tried to protest to the flight attendant but EK kept loudly saying she paid for an aisle seat. I know Southwest is switching to assigned seating soon but they haven't implemented it yet. Now our flight was already delayed 30 minutes and I could see all the other passengers looking at me as if trying to say please just let her win, we want to get there as fast as we can. I looked at the flight attendant and she gave me a pleading look as if to also say please just give her this, we want to get out of here. So, being the fairly passive person I am, I stepped over her, she wouldn't get up to let me in, and sat in the middle seat. Now, I may be passive, but I also am petty. I am also really gassy on airplanes. Normally I try to contain it and go to the restroom when it gets bad enough and just let it rip there. But I was pissed at EK and, frankly, pissed at everyone else on the plane for letting her get away with it. So I decided that I was just going to let ER rip all 7 hours of the flight. I put on my headphones, over the ear, and started passing gas about 1 hour into the flight. And lucky for me, and unlucky for everyone else, they were particularly stinky. Every time I would toot she would sniff, smell it, then shoot dirty looks at me. I just ignored her and just kept listening to my music and reading my Kindle. At about hour 5 she had enough and hit the call button to ask to move. The flight attendant told her we were fully booked and there is nowhere to move her to. EK looked even more pissed but I guess she had seen enough of the internet to know if she threw a fit she would get arrested when we landed. When we did land, since we were near the back, I gave it one more silent but deadly toot to seal the deal and let her bathe in my stink for a couple more minutes. Do I feel bad that I ruined her flight? No. Do I feel bad that I stank up my row? No. And also, for the first time ever I didn't have gas pains nor did I need to rush to the bathroom immediately after getting off my flight. Next time, check in early like the rest of us plebeians and maybe you'll get a less salty seatmate. TL, DR seat stealing snoot sniff stinky stuff while stuck in the sky.